So let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. We have Valentina Shevchenko with the split decision victory over Talia Santos. And I know everyone's saying 49-48 or 49-46 or whatever it was. How? So I went back and looked at the judge's scorecard. That judge that had it 49-46 gave Shevchenko 1, 2, 4, and 5. I don't know what that judge is watching in that first round. I don't see how in a million years you could give Valentina that first. The second, maybe. I thought Santos edged the second out. I had Santos 3-0 going into the fourth. I thought Santos won that fight. You, Mason, were saying last night, the fight companion, you gave Valentina the second, so you had a 2-2 going into the fifth. Yeah. And then Valentina did decisively win 4 and 5. I think that's very obvious to say, correct?
Yeah.
It really comes down, in my opinion, to that second round.
Yeah.
It's just interesting how that judge gave Valentina the first. I did not see that happening. Santos took her down. Santos dominated. Did she land the most damage ever on the ground? No, but control time needs to be a factor. I'm confused.
Yeah, I have no idea how you get 4 out of 5 rounds. 48-47 is fair. I thought the fight was very close, and had Santos won that fight, I mean, I put church coin on her, but if she would have won, I would not have called it a robbery. I thought it was a close fight, but dude, the 4-5 or the four rounds to 1 is just egregious. I don't know where the hell the judge was scoring there. It was just terrible.
Have you guys been noticing a trend, I feel like, of the second round and 5-round fights being the decision maker?
Mm-hmm.
Like the past couple months, I feel like it's always
I don't know if it's coincidence or if it's just happening.
But it always seems to be round 2.
Yeah.
That is always the maker. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are arguing for open scoring. But in this situation, I don't even think that would have mattered.
I think maybe, was it you or Mason that brought it up last night?
It was me, because they were
scoring. I was trying to say in this, for sure, but in this situation, what does that accomplish?
Nothing.
Because,
in my opinion,
I think, oh wait, I remember. I think I said everyone needs to take the seminar classes over and over and really get into the nitty-gritty of what scoring fights means and what criteria there is, because everyone seems to be confused. I mean, we saw this with the Holly Holm fight. I think that's what sparked the biggest controversy of, we need to get down to what are the judges scoring, how are they scoring, what are the exact ruling and criteria for that. I think that'll clear up a lot.
And I don't think the rules do that exactly. I think what the rules state is, what does the judge see and what is his opinion on it.
Yeah, how do we?
So it leaves it too much to him.
Any thoughts?
It's a good question. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I think just changing the rules to specifically look for certain things. I think it's because it comes down to the judge. What does the judge want more? Does he want more control time? Is it damage? Is it exactly? There needs to be a set guideline that these judges need to follow.
It just seems there's too much wiggle room.
Yeah. And
it does typically seem to favor the champion. Sometimes I would argue.
Absolutely.
There's a championship privilege, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah, you're not going to completely exclude biases, especially when it comes to champions and whatnot. I mean, we can do our best, obviously, in the sport. But I think that video that you sent me a few weeks ago, the Laura Senko in D.C., did a good job of kind of explaining the judges' scoring criteria, and not just that, but also the idea of open scoring. It made good arguments opposing and in favor of it. But it's an interesting debate, interesting topic, but I don't know where it would have exactly helped in this situation.
Yeah. Shout out to NW. Thank you so much for showing up here in the chats, my guy. I had Santos 1, 2, and 3. I think Herzog standing up the fight the second swayed judge's opinion. I didn't agree with the stand-up either. Santos wasn't being very aggressive, but she wasn't stalling. Very fucking true, my guy. That's a great point there, Ant.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
That was a weird stand-up.
Yeah.
I get it. She's not landing the most damage, but control time is something. Look at the Conor McGregor-Habib fight. Mm-hmm. How much damage did Habib land in that first round? Slim to fucking none till the end of it.
Right.
But did Herb Dean stand them up? No, because he knew taking away a dominant position from a fighter who is primarily a wrestler and primarily a jiu-jitsu person would completely change the fight and could possibly sway the judges. So very good point there by Aunt W in the chats. We really appreciate that one.
Thing is judges for sure.
Yeah.
Should we always have the same judge? Should we switch it around? Because you tend to have the same judges for championship
I think
fights,
we need.
I feel like.
I think if we had more judges, it'd be better. Like we have 3. If we had 5 judges, maybe it'd be a little bit different. Am I crazy for that one?
Well, we need to take away the 10-point scoring system too. The
10 must.
Yeah. It's just like we need to come up with a new criteria and new scoring for MMA in general.
Everyone seems to agree with that, but what is that? Like, what do we?
Right, I just commentate. I'm not smart enough to
Well, that's not
tell
what I
you
was
exactly.
trying
He's not a rule maker.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. I don't know for sure. I don't know. I just like to complain a little bit about it because, like, I just think it's too archaic. The whole 10-point system. Like, I think there's something better that we could do for MMA as far as like, you know, control time, just groundwork, jiu-jitsu, how many, because like there's a really good point to be made that if you get an almost finish on the feet, it's a lot different to judges than an almost finish for a submission on the ground, right? Like they don't have the same weight. They don't. Like if you almost knock someone out and they're on skates and then they fall down and they're about to finish the fight, you're like, oh, they definitely won that round. If someone almost gets a guillotine and almost wins the fight, you know, and just barely slips out of it, you don't score that the same as an almost knockout.
I think it depends on how they did during the round. Like if they were pressuring and more aggressive during the round, if they were on top and going for submissions and almost got it, then the judges tend to favor that. But you're right. If it's just back and forth fight, you know, just to pick them and then you go for the sub, sometimes it doesn't give you that edge to win the round.
Yeah. It is just it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, man. Let's move on to the fight. We've been talking about the scoring card the entire time. I got to preference this. There's going to be a big but after this. But first things first, I need to apologize to Santos because I was very disrespectful in last night's Fight Companion. I was saying there's absolutely zero fucking... I was pulling the Amanda Nunes, Julian Pena thing. You know, so apologize. So I apologize to Santos for being so disrespectful. I gave you zero chance in that fight. If I had to put a percentage point on it, it was like 0.5. I literally thought Valentina was going to go steamroll in there. I thought Valentina was a stronger fighter. She'd be the more technical fighter. She'd be the better fighter on the ground. But I still think Valentina is the better overall fighter. I still think Valentina is a better fighter on the ground. I still think Valentina is the more technical striker. I still think Valentina is overall the better fighter. I think Valentina's getting in her own head, man. She's been fighting so conservatively lately. It's almost as if she's not trying to win the fight, that she's going out there just trying to keep the belt, if you understand what I'm saying. It's been very non-entertaining from Valentina. I feel like she's just going out there trying to do everything possible to not lose the belt. She's not going out there trying to win the fight. She's going out there trying not to lose the belt. And I think that's a detriment to her, because if she went out there and actually started putting combinations together and letting her hands go and being a little more loose up there instead of being so tight, I think she could have easily won that fight, and it wouldn't even have been a controversy on the scorecards.
Especially with Talia's being like one eye, really. I think that's what changed.
Especially with that.
I think that's what changed the tide of the fight, in my opinion. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
I cut you off, sorry, but go ahead, finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, this is the first time we've seen Talia in championship rounds, and I think after this, she's going to be used to it, get that cardio up. I mean, yes, it was the eye, but still, this is her first time we've seen in championship rounds. I think if she fought Valentina again and did what she did and improved, I think she could win.
I think it's fair to maybe potentially critique this fight, but we can't say Valentina Shevchenko has been boring or is not, because I mean, she finished Lauren Murphy, knocked her out in the 4th round. She finished Jessica Andrade in the 2nd round, and those were her last 2 title defenses.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Like, I get the critique of this fight, absolutely, because it did feel like she was a little more hesitant.
It's like it's the Liz Carmouche thing. Remember the Liz Carmouche title defense a few years ago? It was the same fucking thing. Valentina went in there so conservative and wasn't throwing, was just going in there trying not to. It was a big critique back then, too. And this is the Valentina that showed up in this fight. Valentina just gave her too much respect, in my opinion. If she went in there and said, I'm the best, I'm better than you, and actually started putting combinations on Santos, there would be no controversy with the scorecards, because I truly do believe Valentina is the better overall fighter in every aspect. She just did not show it last night.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair statement to make. I do think Talia Santos is the real deal, though. I mean, is she as good or better than Valentina? Well, no, not technically, because she lost the fight. But I do think that she will be a good contender in this flyweight division. And that's what we need. We need more challenges and challengers for the undisputed champ, Valentina Shevchenko. And I think Santos put a really impressive performance in last night. And I was very happy with it. I mean, there were multiple times where she almost got the sub. But Valentina's defense is just too good.
I'd love to see a rematch between these two in the future, because this was the most interesting fight we've seen with Valentina in
For
most
sure.
recent
Yeah,
years.
I thought she lost, man. Yeah. Straight up. I thought I had Santos 1, 2, and 3. I thought she won the fight. So Valentina just needs to do more, and she could get the victory legitimately, in my opinion. I disagree with the 4-1. I'm not going to say robbery. It's just so close. That second round is close. It's a coin flip from that
kind
one.
of the same. It's the Dominic Reyes, John Jones
Absolutely.
fight.
That's exactly. It's the same
champ
situation.
Clearly won the champ rounds, but you go back to the second and third rounds, and you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Shout out to NW. Valentina is better now, and she's getting up there at 34. Santos is 28 and still evolving. Could be a much different fight a year from now. If I'm Santos' manager or team, I don't even push for the immediate rematch. Get 2 more fights experience and let Val go through 2 more 25-minute fights. Go into a rematch, much more experience. Absolutely 100% echo that sentiment. Absolutely. Let's get into church coin picks. So I took Valentina. I literally thought she was just going to go in there and steamroll her. It did not end up happening that way, but Valentina did get the split decision victory. I put 2,000 church coin on her, and that gave me a whopping return at a minus 700 of 28 church coin.
That's wrong. You should have 280 church coin there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, at 2,000 at a
up.
minus 700, yeah, you would have more than 28 church coin.
Maybe I forgot a zero.
70. There you go. Yeah, for me, I put 100 on Santos and lost that, but good performance. And I do agree with NW. She is 28. She got plenty of time to evolve and develop even more. And I thought it was a great fight and much more competitive fight than what we've seen Shevchenko face in recent memory. So
yeah, 100%.